Well, I don't like to give things away to our opponents. The objective is going to be the same as always, which is going to try to be better than our rivals. It's a little bit of a strange game because of what happened in the first leg. There isn't such a huge difference in between the two teams as what happened in the first leg. But that's what happened, and we're just going to try and forget about that result and approach the game in the best way to pass to qualify for the finals.
7-0, perquè no acostuma a portar un marcador com aquest en un partit de tornada. No sé si el rècord de victòries que pot aconseguir demà l'equip pot ser un al·licient, tenint en compte que el marcador potser no ho és.
Is the possibility of the unbeaten record in your head going into the game tomorrow? No, I haven't looked at that. I haven't used it as motivation up till now, and I'm not going to do it tomorrow either. It's nice to have, but only when it gets us closer to winning titles.
Ha dicho Busquets en una entrevista que solo su mujer y Guardiola le harían dejar el Barça. ¿Tú ves factible que Guardiola venga por él y que él se plantee dejar el club?
Do you think Sergio Busquets might leave Barca to go play for Pep Guardiola next year? I think you need to ask that to Sergio Busquets.
Ya sé que has comentado que no vas a dar pistas de cara al partido de mañana.
You said you're not going to give any clues about the game for tomorrow, but thinking about players that are at the limit of yellow cards, are you taking that into account for tomorrow's game? And will the ones who've been training with you these days be playing tomorrow? We're going to talk to some of the players in the can leave. Well, that's all private information.
Yo lo cumplo, el club me consta que también.
And I don't comment on
especulaciones de si hay ofertas, si
those types of speculation.
Ya se acabó esta ventana, este mercado.
The winter transfer market is over.
At
the end of the season, we'll look at each case individually, the way we always do, and the way we do every season.
Hola, Luis, aquí atrás. Raúl Fuentes de Radio Marca. Te quería preguntar por Rafinha. El otro día le vimos ya saltar al césped, incluso ya tocar balón.
The other day he was out on the field and had some touches with the ball. How does he? But you do have more to lose than to win. It's not an easy game. It might be interesting to think that after the result of the first leg, but in order to motivate the players for a game such as this, with such a big result, it's a challenge. It's a test for my coaching staff to keep the players competitive in the face of any situation. We've been demonstrating it during the year and a half that I've been here, that the players can compete in any situation, and I don't expect tomorrow to be any exception. We're going to come out to play and be competitive and try to go for the victory from the first minute.
Ara comentaves la raresa una mica de l'eliminatòria amb aquest avantatge 7-0. Amb l'ambient que hi ha a València, quin València t'esperes demà per aquest partit?
Going into the game tomorrow, which Valencia do you expect to see?
Esta también es otra pregunta para su
entrenador. With the cup in play.
Me saber qué Valencia voy a encontrar.
I would like to know that myself. You should ask that to the other team's coach.
Como el equipo de lo que en teoría podemos esperar, pero bueno, es todo muy relativo. Depende del perfil de jugadores que pueda utilizar y depende de muchos factores.
Depends on the players that are out on the field.
Un entrenador puede sorprender al otro, un equipo al otro.
Coaches are capable of surprising each other all the time. It depends on situations that unfold out on the field, and tomorrow we'll see.
En el seu moment vas demanar que el filial millorés el seu rendiment i ja porta 4 victòries seguides. Això els dona més possibilitats als jugadors del B per pujar.
Has been playing better. Does that mean that some more of their players are going to be able to come up and help your team? It's true that to be able to go from the reserve team up to the first team, there has to be excellent individual performance. If the team is doing very poorly, probably doesn't offer as much of an opportunity. If the B team is playing well, it means that the players are playing better and they have more chances to come up. But we're looking at a team that's in Second Division B
para esa evolución que necesitamos del jugador, pero
it's not exactly the level that we need in order to have players
es un nivel muy alto.
help us up on the first team, and the first team is a very high level.
Pero siempre ayuda a que vayan bien y que
But it always
mejore su
helps
rendimiento.
that they're playing better and improving their
Buenos días, Joan
performance.
Poquí, para el Mundo Deportivo. Perdone que le insista sobre Dani Alves, porque usted ha comentado que se ha acabado el mercado de invierno y que bueno,
I want to
ya
talk about
veremos
Dani
la temporada,
Alves.
pero en China parece ser que el mercado
In China,
llega hasta febrero. ¿Usted no contempla en absoluto
the market
la posibilidad de perder un jugador a estas alturas?
seems to be
No sabía lo del mercado de China.
still open.
No domino el mercado de China. Lo
Does
siento.
that change things? Oh, I
No lo
don't know
sabía,
anything
pero-
about the Chinese market. I didn't know that.
Yo no contemplo ninguna salida.
I haven't thought about it. I haven't
Luego las circunstancias
contemplated
pueden mandar. Pero en principio, por
any
mí,
of my
yo con lo que
players
estoy,
exiting.
con lo que tengo, y tampoco es que hayamos sobrado de número de jugadores, o sea que
It's not like we have an excess of players.
Aquí, Carles Ruiz Pérez de La Vanguardia. Bartra fa 2 mesos que no,
It's
que
been
no és
2
titular.
months since
No sé si
Mark
ha parlat
Bartra
amb
started a
ell
game.
una
Have you
mica de
spoken to him
situació, si creu que demà és una bona
about his
opció
situation?
perquè torni a l'11.
And maybe the
siempre
possibility
hay
of him
jugadores a lo
returning to the
largo de la
starting lineup?
temporada que
There are always
disponen de menos
players
minutos, que tienen
throughout the
menos
season
oportunidad.
that have
Ese es
less
el-
opportunity and play fewer
esa es la
minutes.
realidad y
That's
la
the
situación
reality
normal
and
de un
the
jugador
normal situation
de cualquier equipo, ya no solo de un equipo grande.
on players in any team, not
partir
just
de ahí-
a big team like us.
Yo, como siempre, lo que hago con los jugadores es darle información para que mejoren su rendimiento.
As
y
always, I give players information
información de
so
las
that they
cosas que
can
tienen que
improve
hacer
their
en el terreno de juego,
performance.
de lo que les pido y de lo que entiendo
And
que
there are things
es
that I ask of them,
necesario.
things that
Luego
are
hay la
necessary.
competencia lógica y real que tiene cada jugador en su posición.
And
Y en
it
esa
also
situación
depends
estamos.
on what the
Sí,
player has in front of him in
del-
his position,
del
and that's
país.
the
No
way
sé si se puede
that's where Mark finds
generalizar,
himself
pero
right now.
quisiera saber qué ha de tener un
I
jugador
don't want to
polivalente basándose en
generalize,
Sergi Roberto.
but what does it mean to have such
Bueno, pues ha de tener
a utility player like Sergio
primero,
Roberto who can play
inteligencia y
everywhere?
capacidad para saber diferenciar que cada
A
posición
player
requiere de unas cosas.
that's intelligent
que no
with
es
the
lo mismo,
capability to play all over the field.
Jugar de interior
It's not the same
a jugar de lateral, me refiero a situaciones
playing
me
on the
refiero
wing as in
sobre
the
todo a
middle.
situaciones en posesión de balón en las que tienes que
Talking more about
arriesgar
situations when
más
we
o
have the
menos. Como
ball,
interior es evidente que uno puede arriesgar mucho más, como lateral mucho menos.
because
Y
you can't
físico,
risk as much
técnica,
playing on the inside as on the wing.
muchísimos factores y
And
muchísimas
as far as
muchísimos
technical
condicionantes
capability,
que influyen para poder jugar
there are a
bien
lot of
en muchas posiciones.
factors that
Jugar en
influence in a
muchas
player being able to
posiciones se puede
play in a
hacer,
lot of
jugar bien en muchas
positions.
posiciones, hay muy pocos jugadores que lo puedan hacer.
There are very few
Ese
players that
sería un
can
poco el resumen
that
por
can
ahora.
do that. That's
Hola Luis, Tiago Arantes de ESPN
basically a
Brasil.
summary.
Douglas no juega un partido desde que se lesionó el 28 de
Douglas
octubre.
hasn't
Incluso la
played
última vez
since
que te
he
preguntaba
was
sobre
injured on
él,
the
creo
18th
que
of
previo al
October.
partido contra el Málaga sobre una posible sesión. Al final no ha pasado
There
la
was talk
sesión.
about him
¿Crees que
being
es un partido interesante para que
sent
recupere
out on loan.
sensaciones y que tenga al menos algunos minutos mañana?
Do you think he may get
Bueno,
some
hemos
minutes
buscado
tomorrow?
con Douglas la posibilidad de jugar más minutos en
We've
ese
been talking
mercado
with
en este
Douglas
mercado
about
anterior, pero no ha
getting more
surgido la
minutes
posibilidad y
through the transfer market that just closed. It didn't happen,
en la misma situación que los jugadores que juegan menos
but
minutos.
he's in the same
tienen que
situation
tener
as
su
other
oportunidad,
players
se parece,
who
aprovecharla
play
y
less minutes and they have to wait for their
no
chance.
tengo queja de ninguno de los jugadores que no está participando con asiduidad.
I don't have anything
Se
to
entrenan
complain
a
about the
mil
players
maravillas. Les
who are not
veo
playing as much. They
y
train very
percibo
well.
el interés que tienen en coger minutos y
They
en
have a huge interest
disfrutarlos
in getting minutes
y
and
es,
having fun out on the
la
field.
primera obligación o la primera condición que pongo a este perfil de jugadores que tienen pocos
And
minutos, el hecho de
The
entrenar
first
en
thing
serio,
I
entrenar
ask
bien,
of these
de ver
players
que
that are
tienen
looking for
hambre
minutes
de-
is that they
de minutos y eso creo que lo
they
tienen
train
todos los que
well
están
and they
en esa
train
situación.
hard, and that's what I ask of everybody that
Marcelo
finds
Becler
themselves in
de
that
Sport
situation.
Interactivo de Brasil. Te pregunto por su experiencia como deportista, que nos explique
In your experience
cómo
as
un
a-
jugador
as an
de alto
athlete.
nivel puede alejarse de lo que le pasa fuera del campo y tener la fuerza mental necesaria para seguir jugando y dentro del campo.
Could you
hacerlo.
talk about things that happen off the field and having the mental stability
Bueno,
to be
primero,
able
para ser
to
jugador de
not
un
let it
equipo
affect you on the
grande
field?
Como el Barça, por ejemplo,
Well,
es evidente que a nivel mental tienes que ser muy fuerte.
Being a player for
No
a
solo
big
por
team
lo
like
que
Barça,
sucede. Antes en mi época tenías que ser muy fuerte para
you have to be
prepararte
very strong
por cualquier situación que sucediera dentro del terreno de
to be
juego. Ahora
prepared
ya no solo tienes que ser
for
fuerte en el terreno de juego, que tienes que seguir siéndolo,
situations
sino
not
que tienes que
just
seguir-
on the field, but
tienes que
off the
ser
field as
fuerte
well,
con todo lo que ocurre fuera y con todo lo que se mueve alrededor del fútbol.
and with everything that happens
Es,
in the
una
world of
evidencia,
football.
Hay jugadores que pasan por los clubes grandes y están muy poco tiempo porque es difícil gestionar esa
It's
presión.
difficult for
Cualquiera de
players
las
that are in the
dos,
big clubs.
Y
It's difficult to deal with either of those things. And any of the players that have been for a long time here in Barca, it's because they have the capacity to deal with it. Sometimes it can be more important even than being able to kick the ball. I wanted to ask about Sergio Busquets and the importance he has on your team. You've talked about it many times. On Sunday, it looked like you wanted him to rest, but in the end, it wasn't to be. Can you imagine what it would be like, or do you imagine a situation where Barca is without Sergio Busquets? The other day, he did rest. Well, he only played 25 minutes. Normally, he was the one who played the most minutes last week. You know, it's about how much weight he has on the team. He's a top player. There's really nothing else to say, to praise about him. He's extremely important in our team. And nothing else.
Sí, Luis, yo soldado de la Sexta, 3 media. Te quería preguntar por Guardiola.
I wanted to ask you about Pep Guardiola. You've always gotten on really well.
Como el otro, desde que se ha anunciado que se va
al
fútbol inglés, es verdad que ha habido varios futbolistas que han expresado su deseo de algún día ser entrenados, o en cualquier caso también se han deshecho en elogios, ¿no? Hablábamos de Busquets,
different players like Busquets and Neymar who've said that they would love to be coached by Guardiola. Does it represent some sort of threat that Guardiola going to the English Premier League might be able to take away some of these players? No.
Sí. Hola, Núria Casas, de 8 al dia. En un equip guanyador com el Barça, costa mantenir l'ànim dels jugadors suplents?
With a team that wins as much as Barca, is it tough for you to keep the reserves, or sorry, the substitutes motivated?
Cualquier entrenador que gestiona un grupo,
any coach that has to manage a team, whether it's even a teacher in a school that has to manage a group of people, has to worry about that. Students that apply themselves more, others that do so less. Some players get more minutes, some are less happy. It's more difficult for some than others. But to try and keep the team relaxed, it's something that's really important to me. And I'm happy with what I see in the training sessions. If you make it to the final of the Copa del Rey, which looks pretty evident based on the result of the first leg, do you think that Real Madrid would allow the final to be played in their stadium? I'm more interested in playing the final and getting there than where it's played. It's basically the same thing that everybody asked last year, and I respect all the possible options. If we're lucky enough to get there, I think it would be great to play anywhere where the people are comfortable watching the match.
Me gustaría preguntarte por la competencia que estamos viendo en el lateral derecho entre Aleix y Dani.
A little bit about the competition on between the right fullbacks, Aleix Vidal and Dani Alves. Can you talk about the competition between the two? Well, I think that there's 3 people there because Sergio Roberto plays there too. I try to give minutes to all 3. Dani Alves is just competitively, he's a beast. He gives incredibly high performances in all of the games and the training sessions. Aleix has adapted very well. He brings a lot of things to the team. He was able to adapt very quickly to the team. He performs very well. And Sergio Roberto, we've seen him play there. He does a great job too. I can't really give any more possibilities there, but I'm happy with everything I see at that position.
Se cumple 100 partidos de Luis Enrique como entrenador del Barça, presenta los mejores números en cuanto a
your first 100 games as coach.
Ya sé que tiene muy mala memoria,
you have the best record in the history of the club as a coach.
Que más ha disfrutado como entrenador, siempre como entrenador, y el que más ha sufrido.
What are the most exciting moments that you've lived as the coach and the most difficult moments? Well, there have been several, not just one. I think the best memory I have is probably the final of the Champions League. In Berlin, it was a special game. And probably before that game was the Juventus. Before the game was probably the most difficult moment. Tomorrow at 9:45 a.m., the coaching staff will release the squad list, and then the team will train and